My name is Dr. Eunice Gwanmesia. I am the Chief Executive Officer for Eunity Solutions. Currently, I am working as the CEO of Eunity Solutions, but I am a nurse by training. I am also a diversity and inclusion consultant, a published author, a certified life and professional coach, as well as an educator and speaker. My day starts every day at 5:30 in the morning. That's when I have my time, just me. First of all, I do my morning prayers. Then I have some meditation. Then I read at least for 30 minutes because I get into the habit of reading a book every month. A book of choice every month, something inspirational. So I do read 30 minutes of every day, a section of the book. And from there, when school was on, I would get the kids ready for school thereafter. But now that we're home, I just go with the routine of what they have to do, still get them ready for to get on Zoom calls. But that's how typically my day goes, starts early and usually ends late. But I do try to get in some time just for me to reflect, meditate, and do something just to get my faculties together. I am so proud, and always is, to tell everyone that I started as a dental therapist. Then I went backwards again and did my certified nursing assistant. But then I eventually enrolled in a nursing program and got my Bachelor of Science in Nursing. And thereafter got 2 master's degrees, a Master of Science in Nursing Leadership and a Master of Science in Healthcare Administration. And now a Doctor of Philosophy in Nursing. So, like I said, I'm a nurse by training. So I have done, been a nurse for 22 years, and I have worked in pretty much all specialties of nursing except birth babies. However, my education as a dental therapist or as a CNA or as a nurse, there are things that I have taken from each of these degrees and I can implement them today in anything I do. Currently working as the CEO of Eunity Solutions, I really get the benefit and the advantage of putting into place what I have learned through the years of 22 years of nursing. And it is quite interesting that, growing up as a little girl, you think that an education you're only going to work in that area. No, but that information and that knowledge that you get from all of those degrees come into play. I can say that I can do my job now with more wisdom than I would have if I didn't have those degrees. So I really put into use the knowledge that I've gained through all of my education as well as work experiences, because I strongly believe that you have to learn in the process, and the process is all the challenges that you go through this journey called life. Career is no different. You're going to meet some stumbling blocks in your profession. But what is very important is that you're learning and taking those lessons and making yourself a better person. And also bringing into your profession that experience and that wisdom that makes you either, whatever you're doing, a better person in doing that thing that you're doing, instead of dwelling on the challenges and the roadblocks. Because as we all can agree, life is going to happen. You have your plans, but then you meet these challenges. The one thing I will tell you is never give up. Because when you give up, you have just said failure is normal, but it is not. What is important is marrying that process. Keep working. You know what you want that future person, that your future self to be. What are you going to do to get yourself to that position, to that level where you want to be? So just remember, an education is necessary. An education is your first husband. Once you have an education, nobody can take it from you. So my dear sisters and young people, just remember that you must get an education. Even if you want to go ahead and do something else, like I now do in business, you must get that education, because education is power. Wow, great question. As an African woman, and I am proud to be an African woman, I am even more proud to be what I call a little girl from the cornfields of Cameroon in Central West Africa, particularly from Kumbu in the Nso Fundum. I have often reflected on what my journey has been, and I count my blessings, and I am forever grateful because the journey has not been easy. Growing up in Cameroon, first of 6 children, I always wanted to be a teacher like my dad. I was daddy's little girl. At the age of 21, I flunked out of college because wanting to be a teacher like dad took me to the French-speaking University of Yaoundé after high school with the hopes of graduating and becoming a teacher like daddy. But I refused to learn another language. I saw that as someone else's responsibility. So I would eventually fail out of the university after 2 years. That was my first experience in failing in my cultural responsiveness. You can only imagine how devastated I was. I saw no light at the end of the tunnel, but I am grateful because I was given a second chance in life, and I did not take that second chance for granted. I had an opportunity to go to Canada and study dental therapy, which I successfully completed and ended up working in the Rankin Inlet, which is in the Northwest Territories of Canada. And while in Rankin Inlet, I failed at yet another opportunity to embrace my Canadian brothers and sisters and their cultural values and beliefs and allow them to embrace me as this African little girl so we could learn from each other. And I ended up leaving Canada disheartened and lonely. Washington, D.C. was my next stop, where I thought I would see people that looked like me. That was not what I was looking for. I was looking for a place to call home, and I would eventually make that home in Delaware. But while in Delaware, I was met with many other challenges and transformation that really molded me into the person that I am today. The first challenge I had arriving in Delaware was when someone told me I could not apply for a job because of who I was. Being an immigrant, being a woman, and having a heavy accent. And I know you can say the accent is very beautiful, right? So the transition has not been easy, but the one thing I have done is along the way, I have made it such that every time I encounter an individual, I seize those teaching moments and educate them about a piece of my culture or a piece of something I strongly believe in, especially when I feel that that person is either not understanding me or treating me because of who I am. I get into the habit of professionally educating them about me, about the values I believe in, and about life in general. For example, 2 days ago, I was walking into a grocery store, and a lady told me admired the outfit I was wearing. It happened to be my kaba, which is, an African outfit made out of Ankara fabric. I immediately turned to her and said, "Thank you very much. But it is," and she called my outfit a costume. So I turned to her and I said, "Thank you very much. I appreciate that. However, it is not a costume. It's a dress, just like what you're wearing. The difference is that it is made out of different fabric from what you are wearing. It is simply an African print, but that does not make it a costume." So this is, really taking the opportunity and teaching her about being culturally sensitive. These are the things that we say to one another casually and think we're just speaking. Some don't know any better. But if I don't seize that opportunity to educate them, then we will never, ever be able to communicate effectively and really get to know and work with each other in a more conducive and inclusive environment. My passion for diversity, I shared my story already. So my journey has really prepared me for this time. And I am so passionate when it comes to cultural awareness and diversity because I know the power of us celebrating, accepting each other's cultural differences, because there is power in different ideas, in different perspectives. Because when we put all those ideas together, we are stronger. So growing up as that little girl I shared with you earlier, I have learned a lot along the way. And because of that, I am who I am. I am so passionate in engaging others in conversations about diversity and how we can work together to improve team performances and build better communities. So my passion just comes through the lessons that I have learned. Yes, I have a PhD and my research background is in really looking at cultural competency. those characteristics and attitudes that we all develop along the way, because it is an ongoing journey on how to best be in a community, in a society, and in a workplace where we accept each other and celebrate the differences. Because after all, we're human. The same blood runs through our bloodstreams. We're not different because we have an accent. We're not less intelligent because we're a foreigner or an immigrant. We are the same. I happen to have been that individual that is an immigrant, and I've had the privilege of experiencing both worlds, being an immigrant and being, say, in a classroom as a student and as a faculty member here in the United States of America. It was not easy. Life has not been a bed of roses. I always wanted to be a teacher, but I ended up being a nurse. And that is the best decision that I have ever made. I would do it all over again. But it has been so fulfilling, not only because I have been able to help the sick, but because of the experiences, the stories that I created through nursing that are now helping me in my business, in who I am, and in how I relate with others in my community. It is all about giving back. It is all about being a contributing member of society. And most importantly, it's about blessing others, because a blessing is not a blessing until you turn around and bless others. My dear daughters, the world is not what it used to be. I am sure you have, seen on television, heard on the news about the events going on after the brutal murder of a gentleman in the United States of America called George Floyd. Things are changing, not only in the United States, but around the world. But what I can advise each and every one of you is get that education your parents have paid for. Get that education that you so want. But the first thing I would advise after that is know exactly what you want your future self to be. When you know what you want your future self to be, put a strategy in place. How are you going to get to that future Linda? How are you going to get to that future Agnes? How are you going to get to that future Ambrosia? You got to know it. So you got to write it down. Write your short-term goals and write your long-term goals. And have a plan for yourself if things fail, if things don't go as planned. You heard my story. I wanted to be a teacher. It did not go as planned. Guess what? I walked the path. Even though I didn't become a teacher at the age of 21, I ended up becoming a teacher later on in life through nursing. So we all can agree that life is not a smooth sailing path. And we also can agree that even if we look at everyday things like even just driving a car, you have to be behind the wheel, controlling it. If you're not controlling it, it can easily go off the road. Why does an aeroplane go up and down above the clouds when it meets the winds and the storms in the air? It's the same with life. So you've got to be prepared and ready for those roadblocks and know exactly what you're going to do to get around those stumbling blocks. That plan has to be written. That plan also must be visible to you as a reminder. Because if you do not write it down, it is just wishful thinking. You think it in your head, life gets in the way, you get busy, and you can lose track of those plans. So please write it down, make it visible, and review it from time to time so it helps you stay focused and on track. The second thing I will say is get yourself a mentor. A mentor, someone that will tell you what you don't want to hear necessarily. Someone that is there for you to bounce ideas to. And a mentor does not have to be someone that you meet with physically all the time. You can have different types of mentors. One that you truly meet with, or one that is virtual, maybe through reading their books, listening to their inspirational messages. I have a lot of mentors. I read through their books. I listen to their messages on YouTube. So it is what you want to do and what is accessible to you. But get a mentor, because a mentor will help you stay on track also once you're meeting those challenges. And you can always bounce ideas back and forth with them. Thirdly, what I will advise is surround yourself with like-minded people. People who are hungry to better their lives. There is a saying that you're the average of the 5 people you hang around with. If you're around like-minded people, when life gets tough, They will uplift you. They're not going to drag you down. When life gets really hectic, they will remind you of where you're going. So please find yourself a group of like-minded people, but be aware that not everybody likes to see you succeed. So stay with those whom you can lean on their shoulders and continue to work hard. You will meet failures. It is a given. But when you meet those failures, are you going to give up? Giving up is not a choice. Because if you give up, you're saying that failure is normal. Fear simply means false evidence appearing real. And it's okay sometimes to have that fear. But you must develop that mindset, that fierce mindset, that mindset of a lion, and just continue working toward your destination. Those goals you have set for yourself, you have that potential in you. There's God-given potential. You just have to tap it. There is a statue in you, as Michelangelo would often say, that in every rock, there's a statue inside, and it's only up to the sculptor to discover what that statue is inside of you. So I say to you, my daughters and sisters, that you have something unique that no one else has. You have the skills to do anything you want to do. It is just a matter of aligning that direction that you're taking. But please do not give up.